It's been a very challenging day today. Putting the fine touches to this, which is sanding the various components, reading the instructions over and over, going back to the plan, checking, cutting less rather than more so that if you make a mistake you can come back. And then the stern post. I'm amazed I'm still on the first one. It's coming to come, that's all I can say, and when I've got it all done I'll go through the challenges with you. The stem post is now all completed. Just some of the difficult measurements that I had trouble getting. The rabbet here is 1.5 inches, and you can use the back of the caliper to determine that. And then this little piece here, the wing fits on the top of it. So it's different than these. So once you establish the line, you can simply make the cut here. And the reason that it uses a smaller cutout is because it's only going in this much and it sits on the post like that. Make sure we've got the rabbet absolutely straight. We actually clamped a straight edge onto the table. Use the back end of the caliper, this end here, to set the depth. Then you use the sharp knife. I'm using my Japanese knives. Give me the mark. And then you can take this off and come and put the groove in. Once it's very sharp, it works pretty good, and you're taking out small chunks. If you find the grain going the wrong way, like here, just go in the opposite direction. I made 3 or 4 attempts to sharpen the V-shaped small hand palm chisel. Not very successful. So I thought I'd use my technology, and I went to my turbo carver with a very fine triangular bit. And very carefully use this to open up the rabbet. This was then followed by some files, and I think the net result is pretty good. We've used 2 files to do the rabbet. First a big rough one, and this is followed by a smaller one which puts a nice clean line on the rabbet. And reassembled everything, and it looks fun. It looks pretty good. I've also cleaned up the frame. I had spilled some Indian ink when I was doing the last model, and it unfortunately got on the building board. To make up the transom pieces, we cut out these templates from the plan. I had trouble putting glue on these. They tended to distort. Contact cement seems to work best. And then just and leave it to dry. Whereas all of the pieces of the transom are cut from 10-inch boards, the wing transom, this piece here, is cut from 18-inch boards because it has to be tapered. Cut as close to the line as you can, but not too close that it'll touch the paper template. I would say a perfect whirl is about 1/16 off the edge of the line. If you find that's too close, then put it a little further, because you'll use the sander to take off the excess. What you don't want to do is to cut the paper template with the soap. We've cut them out on the bandsaw, and now we just need to clean them up. I highly recommend this sander. It comes with a multiple number of sanding drums right down to it's a 3/4 inch, which is pretty good to do all of this very critical concave and convex curves that you'll have on the model. For even smaller work, I put this Dremel bit in the Cameron drill press and made up a little flat jig to hold it. So all the pieces are now cleaned up and ready for final fitting onto the stem post. The wing transom has a curvature both on the bottom and on the top, and we use the quarter deck profile to establish this this template. We use the French ruler to establish the line. Use a piece of masking tape to establish exactly where it is on the French ruler, and then transfer this line to a stencil. And then from that stencil we'll be able to get the top and the bottom shape for the wing transom. Now we transfer those lines onto the wing transom. I like the spiral sander because I can hold it square and get a nice clean line up and down. So the key to this is to hold it very flat while you're doing the grinding. I've also set the table saw and cut grooves that are the required 3 inches down here and on the sides on the bottom, and that gives me a very accurate measurement in terms of I mustn't go below that line. And there you have it. Nice clean line, absolutely level. Two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Transfer all the cutting lines or the grinding lines back onto the part. To read and look in the book, in fact, it's a little misleading. At one point in time, there's a picture which actually has this upside down. The dotted line that you see here is the inside, and this would be the top. And the hard line is what you curve off the bottom. So when you are laying it out, you need to transfer the various lines to the top and the bottom. And then the little 3-inch lip that's left here is at the top because the boards come up and later that, and a molding goes across the top of it. So I'm going to use my Japanese knives to start doing the rough work. The sharper they are, the better, and these things really work fantastically. Take off little bits at a time, don't try to do it all too much. And of course, be very careful that you don't cut your finger. We're going to end up making a second one. I think I've got the shape pretty correct, but did make some errors along the way. Power tools, if you just let them slip. So I actually filled a few little pieces and now have the shape down correctly. And this will give you an idea of the piece. we've got them all done. We only broke one. Again, in the book they suggest that you if you line the grain up with one side, it's going to be the wrong way on the other side, and through the form trying to fit one, I broke it. But it was quite easy to make another one, and they all fit nicely. I did struggle to know the depth at which these should be cut. There's also a line at the top indicating that it will have a slight angle up,